Shadow football. Hi everyone. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how to start this video. So let's just dive straight into it. We'll start with the first half, and let's take a look at the notable incidents. And now let's talk about the second half. In truth, it may seem like the first half was a complete drab since it was pretty much a battle to see who can gain control in midfield. Neither team looking fully comfortable and both teams matching up against each other quite well. But there are some really interesting tactics to discuss during the first 45. Arsenal lined up in the usual 4-2-3-1 shape. However, Matt Beard went with a 4-3-3 formation for his Liverpool side rather than the usual 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2 system he's been using mostly for this campaign. It does make sense for Liverpool to line up in a 4-3-3 to counter Arsenal's 4-2-3-1, since every position is designed to mark a specific player in the Arsenal setup. The centre-halves will watch the striker, the full-backs mark the wingers, the holding midfielder will mark the central attacking midfielder, the two central midfielders will be pressing the opposition central midfielders, the wingers will track back and defend the full-backs, and the striker will be left up top chasing down the centre-backs. Liverpool defended really well and did a great job of stifling Arsenal's attack. They pressed well and really hounded every Arsenal player that touched the ball. Their defensive line starts out low, and when Arsenal inevitably pass the ball backwards because they can't find a way through the Red Sea, Liverpool will then push up as a unit together. What this does is congest the field of play for Arsenal when they push up. Since they're pushing up as a unit, the defense, midfield and forward lines stay very connected to each other, and it drags their defensive line higher up the pitch. This suffocated Arsenal as they were repeatedly pushed back into their own half. Liverpool were physical, hard to break down, and gave Arsenal a very tough time in the first half. However, what did work for Arsenal was pressing as soon as they lost the ball. Whenever they lost the ball in the opposition half, they would swarm around like locusts and close down the first, second, and third ball, aiming to win it back as soon as possible. Leah Williamson was so good at this during this game, and I thought she had a fantastic game for the Gunners. The problem for Arsenal, though, is that once they won the ball back, they had no idea what to do. They would often rush shots, and even if they did find a player out wide in space, the crosses would be, not great. I highlighted this as a problem during the game against Tottenham, but this is starting to become a real issue for Eidevall. This is a team that lack composure and, more importantly, patience in the attacking third, and this problem gets worse with their holding onto the ball for long periods of time. The team that Eidevall has built is a counter-attacking team. Both of their goals, and I'll get to them in a bit, were from counter-attacks. When the opponent is playing a high line, and there were no backwards passes by Arsenal once they've gained momentum forward. This is a team that wants to move the ball forwards, and when they go backwards and sideways continually, they lose momentum and it forces them to reset their attack, which comes to nothing pretty much every single time. Whilst Arsenal was somewhat able to get their attack going by playing most of the half in enemy territory, the same can't be said about Liverpool. After losing to Man City 5-1 the week before, Matt Beard focused a lot on improving his side's defense, and it did improve. But that seemed to be the only thing he focused on, as his Liverpool team could not get anything going when trying to attack. The composure and trust his players usually have was gone during this game. The amount of times they just launched the ball forward aimlessly, hoping someone was somehow going to get on the end of it and Graham Hansen their way through their entire Arsenal defense and score, was honestly ridiculous. I'm just gonna keep talking to just drag this out and show you how many times Liverpool just hoofed the ball up the pitch to prove my point. Now, this would be a viable tactic if Sophie Roman Haag was on the pitch, but Shanice van der Sanden is not a target woman, nor is she an out-and-out striker, so I don't really know why Matt Beard started her up front. Oh, I know why. She's the quickest forward they have, so obviously, Beard wanted her to chase down opposition defenders instead of running behind and try to score a goal, which is something Liverpool did not do this game. The other issue with Liverpool's build-up during this game is that Kerry Holland and Sophie Lundgaard thought that Liverpool's winters are just too cold for them and too windy, so both of them decided to go on holiday to sunny Mallorca, because neither one of them could be bothered to drop back and receive the ball, meaning there was a huge disconnect between the defense and midfield lines. This improved when Marie Herbinger was brought on, but it was too late by then as they were already 2-0 down. It was a cagey first half, Both teams were kind of on a first date with each other, feeling each other out and getting a hang of what the other is like. It carried on for another 15 minutes or so in the second half until Vivianne Miedema decided she had enough and just whacked one in the back of the net. All the commentators were talking about how Emily Fox did so well to dribble through and pass the ball to Miedema, which she did, don't get me wrong. But the question I'm going to ask is, why was Vivianne Miedema free? One of two important things to note. In the first half, Nagano Furuka absolutely hounded Miedema every time she touched the ball. She did not leave her side and did everything she could to disrupt her game. And she did it very well, she was successful. Miedema could not get into the rhythm at all, and Nagano did a great job marking her out of the game. 2 was that Alessia Russo got involved way more as her teammates kept looking for her when trying to build out from the back. Russo dropped back and linked up with her teammates a lot more, which allowed her teammates around her to move into more advanced positions as she dropped back. With those two pieces of information in mind, let's ask the question again. Why was Vivianne Miedema free? The logical explanation is that Beth Mead had a word with Nagano at halftime and told her to back off because Nagano was getting too close to her Vivi and it made her extremely jealous. So Nagano, being a woman of class on and off the pitch, duly backed off.
Hey, that's me and that's Vivi!
The other, less plausible explanation I have is this. Miedema is out wide over here and wins the header from a Law's goal kick. This isn't her usual attacking midfield spot, so Nagano now has no one to mark. Russo drops back to Miedema's usual position and links up with her teammates. Nagano now has to go close down Russo since she's operating in the attacking midfield position. Since Nagano is a respectful human being and doesn't want to piss off Beth Mead, she follows Alessia Russo and Miedema makes a move up the pitch. Russo passes it back to Fox and Fox passes it back, re-engaging Nagano to go close down Russo and forces her to go wider. Fox gets the ball back and squeezes between two Liverpool players and runs at Nagano and takes the ball around her easily. Honestly, too easily, since Nagano squares her hips and couldn't turn in time. Nagano has just been forced to close down Arsenal players 3 times in the same area, which means that she had no opportunity to go back to her usual position. Holland and Lundgaard are still on holiday in Mallorca and does not notice that Nagano is out of position, so neither one of them fill in here, and that leaves Vivianne Miedema completely unmarked. Matthews should step out to Fox since Fahy is already covering Mead's line here. Fox finds Miedema with a good pass and Miedema smashes it into the back of the net. And hold on a second, wait, is she celebrating? Is that a celebration? She's celebrating scoring a goal? I've never seen the like. Vivianne Miedema is genuinely celebrating scoring a goal is a sentence no one has ever said. Oh my god, I thought I'd never see the day. She's actually celebrating. Wow.
Well, she didn't celebrate anyway.
Arsenal looked more comfortable as the game went on from this point. They had more clear-cut chances and still managed to stifle Liverpool going forward. Liverpool kept launching the ball forwards blindly, you'd think Sia was playing for them. And it wasn't long until Arsenal scored their second goal and effectively killed off the game. If you look here, Liverpool's defence is decently aligned as Fox plays a ball for Russo in behind. However, the player in the left centre-back position is Kerry Holland. So what is she doing there? What is she doing there? The introduction of Sophie Roman-Haug meant that Liverpool actually had somebody to aim for if they played the ball long and forwards, which meant Van der Sande moved out to the left wing when SRH came on. Pelova picks up the ball on the left-hand side, drives inwards and finds a good pass out to Emily Fox. Take a look at the amount of space here. There isn't a single Liverpool player here. The player that should have been filling this space is Van der Sande. If we take a look slightly before, she moves to cover a potential pass to Ilestedt, but she is now playing as a left winger, so Ilestedt is not her responsibility. She should be covering Fox. Leah Walty's move backwards also grabs her attention as she is within her reach if she receives the ball, but she just stands still and Fox only has Matthews to deal with. Fahy, who is marking Mead, tracks her run out wide, dragging her out to the touchline. Holland, who is back from her holiday in Mallorca, fills in for Fahy at centre-back. She's caught ball watching instead of watching one of the best strikers in the world, but she's not a centre-back so we'll forgive her. Van der Sanden's error in position has caused a chain reaction of positional errors from Liverpool. Matthews covered Van der Sanden, Fahy covered Matthews, and that's why Holland had to cover Fahy. Nagano, who was tracking Russo, spots that Fahy has occupied Mead and thus has a second to chat up Miedema and rushes for the opportunity. Bonner turns her head to check for any danger coming from the right-hand side, which was none, but turned her head the exact time Russo started making her run in behind. Emily Fox drives through the space Van der Sanden was supposed to be covering, and Bonner is slow to turn and a step behind. Knowing she doesn't have enough pace to get to Russo, she instead tries to block the cross, which is the right thing to do. But she doesn't get there in time, and Ford scores a lovely goal. Liverpool did eventually switch up to the usual 3-5-2 shape, but it was too late by that point. Sophie Romanhog's inclusion really did help their link-up play going forward, which makes me wonder why Matthew Beard didn't start her for this game. It was her flick-on that gave Mia Enderby this glorious chance at the end, and I wonder if she did start this game, Liverpool would have had a bigger attacking threat. This could have easily been a scoreline with a bigger margin if Stina Blackstenius took this chance, or this other opportunity, or perhaps this one too, or this chance as well. Eidevall has two choices now: double down on counter-attacking and build his team around defending deeper and attacking on the break, or keep trying to make his players play possession football when it clearly isn't their biggest attacking strength. Anyhow, it was a good win for Arsenal, and they'll hope to carry this momentum to a much improved West Ham side next. Special mention must go to Emily Fox, who has come in and added so much quality at right back. She shot Mel Lawley down superbly, defended really well as a whole, and played a huge part in both her team's goals. But one player who had a great game, and who I think has been the most consistent player for Arsenal this season, someone who rarely ever gets mentioned, is Lotte Wubben-Moy. There wasn't much for her to do this game, but she defended really well and repelled everything that came her way. She's a figure of composure and plays the game with the maturity and experience of someone who has 15 years of experience in professional football. She constantly tried to play the ball forwards to her teammates to launch an attacking phase, and she's just such an intelligent defender to watch. I hope Serena gives her more game time in a Lioness shirt soon. Speaking of Lioness centre-backs, Leah Williamson is back. It'll be interesting to see who Eidevall chooses to drop for her, since Wubben-Moy and Eidevall have both been brilliant at the back this season. Williamson will be a very welcomed return to the starting 11, as her fancy feet and ridiculous passing range will no doubt add to their fantastic counter-attacking ability. For Liverpool, Matt Beard needs to rally his team up again for a tough test against an ever-improving Tottenham side that sit level on points with them in the table. The title looks to be a 3-horse race at the minute, and with Arsenal barely scrapping by against the weaker teams in the league, they're in the most danger of dropping out of that 3-horse race early.